Yeah. Annie Ellis is an employment lawyer. You know what employment lawyer means?
I'm afraid to ask.
Here's the deal. I have an employment lawyer because starting in 1995, I got an employment lawyer. Do you know why?
Because if you turn down the wrong person for the wrong
Or
reason,
if you fire anyone.
Yep. Or they quit.
Right. So you get yourself sealed up in the very beginning.
Yeah.
So they can't do anything. You at least try to. So Annie Ellis, law office of Annie M. Ellis.
That makes sense.
Talks about employment law. And we thought during COVID, I thought it'd be an interesting time. She's really solid. She's here in San Diego, California. Now you might be watching us in New York City. You might be watching us in Dallas. You might be listening to us in another country on American Forces Radio Network because we're TV and radio at the same time. But Annie has this thing figured out. Annie, great to have you. Thanks for swinging by, first of all.
Good morning. Thank you.
So here's my question for you. Has your life changed differently? I'm not talking about personally. I'm talking about in terms of employment law since COVID. I mean, have there been other walls that employers and employees have to put up just because this is happening? People are working out of their homes and so on and so forth.
I think she's going to say yes.
How much time do we have?
Yeah, right. It's a whole special.
I was actually just talking to a client this morning, and I'll quote exactly what I said. Employment law will never be the same after this.
So why? So what's the first takeaway? Is it more dangerous to be an employee now? Is it more dangerous to be an employer now in terms of lawsuits?
I think that COVID is going to open up employers to a whole new world of lawsuits. And obviously out here in California, it was already tough enough to be an employer. The most sophisticated employers I work with, it can't be perfect. You just don't have that under California law or other states that operate the way we do. This is only going to get harder. We've got leave laws that are getting passed. We've got health regulations that are changing almost by the minute. They probably changed in the few minutes we've been on the air already.
Yep.
And we've got PPE requirements. We've got unemployment. We've got emotions, which, whenever I talk to a client, I always weigh two things, legal risk and emotional risk. And sometimes emotional risk is higher because everyone's fear and panic right now is so high and we just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, if I'm working from home and I trip on my own couch.
First of all, you've never worked from home.
All right.
You don't have that kind of a job.
I'm pretending I'm someone else. Hey, I work from my house and I stub my toe on my own.
Is that the end? Oh, yeah. Or you cut yourself while looting a business.
No, that's a different subject. But I'm saying that if you're working from home, under that's your job, but something happens to you during that time at home, I don't know, I say, a paper cut.
So that's right. So let's
another angle.
Yeah, how does workers' comp work when you're at home and you are running upstairs to make the Zoom meeting, and as a result of that, you hit one of the stairs and you broke a toe? Is that a workers' comp issue at that point? I mean, you're right. This is a whole new thing, is it not?
You're voicing the fears of all of my employer clients, which is now we have to have these working remotely guidelines which cover health and safety and PPE and what's a professional work environment. Yeah, what's a professional work environment? Because people's children are running through, Zoom calls with clients. And so, wage and hour with timekeeping and reimbursement for the home office, which is a big issue here in California. It is a Pandora's box when it comes to these working remotely issues. And also, how do you manage someone? How do you know they're actually putting in 8 hours of productive work and not just...
Oh, I know.
They're not.
This is how you know. And you know like this. Come on, let's get... Yeah, that's it. That's you just, okay, so
good work for her now.
Yeah, Annie Ellis, by the way, is an employment attorney. I saw her on TV, and I asked if she could come join us. Let's turn the page a little bit because businesses are struggling. We were fortunate enough to be able to keep everyone on the payroll here at the studios during this because because media is a necessary. What do they call essential workers?
Essential.
Because many areas we're on TV across the country, they don't have any other way to get information. So fortunately we were able to do that. But you have a lot of people that are unemployed, and we have expanded employment benefits of $600 a week that end in literally 7 days. We have a stimulus package that's being argued around, bantied about by the Republicans and the Democrats. Republicans want to put a wage cap on that at $40,000. Democrats do not. It's all pretty much agreed that you're going to get a stimulus check, and it's going to be $1,200, but it could go up to $6,000 per family on one side of the fence. If you're a Democrat, it could go up to just $1,200 if you're... It's getting confusing, but what is not confusing is many of these people that were disincentivized to go back to work because they're making more money on unemployment. Are they going to fix that issue, or are those people just out of luck, in your opinion, Annie?
Well, I want to clarify something. The $600 a week actually runs out on Saturday in almost every state, Sunday in some states.
Okay, so let's call it 3 days. Thanks, Miss Attorney.
Yeah, I got to make.
They're all about like exactly how you know.
Well, yeah. Let me go ahead.
Have you ever said in about a week, Your Honor? You never have you?
No.
Yeah, all it takes is one whiplashing from a judge and you get more accurate.
So Saturday they run out. Yeah, because it's the last day of the pay period on a Friday, correct? Yeah, you're right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because unemployment runs on a full work week basis, so it's Sunday to Saturday here in California, and they won't do a partial week, so the 31st is on a Friday. So it cuts off.
So Saturday, expanded unemployment benefits, over.
Yep, and so right now the question is, what is Congress going to do? Are they going to extend the $600? Are they going to prorate it? Are they going to come to some compromise? You know, the last I saw last night, the Republicans were floating around some plan to do $100 a week instead of the $600. And so I think the next couple of days are going to be really interesting. I know we're going to see some things come out later today and probably tomorrow morning. But, you know, my recommendation is if you're on unemployment and you're needing that $600, plan for it to end because we just don't know what's going to happen.
I've also heard they're talking about making it easier or not as hard to sue somebody if you get COVID at that restaurant or at that business. Like you go to work, someone sneezed in the cubicle next to you, you can't sue your employer because you got sick there, some kind of...
Well, like for example, when your wife contracted COVID at a bar in Park City because of the doorman is where they did contact tracing to. Could she, in that day and age 3 months ago, could she have gone back and sued that restaurant or bar? For something
so that
like
would have been a business dispute and rather than an employment dispute. But here's the position I take. You have to really be able to prove that you got it from that business. And that's hard to do. And I don't know that situation, and maybe you could. But in the employment context here in California, the governor actually passed an order a few months ago making it a presumption, yes, that it's covered by workers' compensation if you test positive within 14 days of being at your employer's work site. So what that means is, and I just actually answered a client's question about this, which is if we had someone at our work site in the last 14 days and they got a yes test positive, do we have to give them that workers' comp form to fill out? And the answer is yes. And then that goes to the carrier.
Oh, that's workers. So that's a workers' comp issue. Interesting.
Yes.
I'm feeling a little feverish now. Catch me. Somebody catch me.
You know, the interesting part of this is so you bring up something else, not just employment law. Now you bring up the insurance rules. Our workers' comp is going to go through a complete rewrite here after this, is it not?
Well, you know, it's interesting. Buried in that order, it says something to the effect of this doesn't prohibit any of the carriers from raising their insurance premiums in response to this order. And that is immediately what I saw after.
Well, of course, because, I mean, one of the biggest expenses as an employer is workers' comp. I mean, it's slip and fall insurance.
Right.
You know, and workers' comp can come in many forms, and you can't get around it. It's one of those things where if you run payroll in this, in this country, all right, not just specifically the state of California, just because we broadcast from here, but in this country, if you run payroll, most payroll services won't run your payroll unless there's a workers' comp deduction coming out, right? So, Annie, listen, you're going to be a regular here. So it's like the mafia. Once you're in, you're in. You can't get out.
Plus, you can come up here and visit us.
Shout out to Mike Hess on the draft beer there. Good choice. There
you go. And by the way, anytime you want to come in studio, we are socially distanced. We just move around. As Russ moves, we all move around. It's almost like I'm two magnets moving.
Almost like I have a hula hoop just all around me.
You should invent something like that.
Bluetooth hula hoop.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Annie. Appreciate it. Good stuff. Annie Ellis. Fantastic.
Oh.
All right. We got Patrick DeHaan, GasBuddy.com. You spending more money on gas these days?
A little bit, not much. But I'm not going anywhere.
But more people are, and it's affecting gas prices. Good. We're talking about gas prices across the country coming up. It's the Big Biz Show, BigBizShow.com.
Hey.
You can follow us everywhere there. See you in a second.
Yeah, baby. Hey.